Welcome to this special edition of the ACC Update. I'm Lisa Fletcher. More than 1,200 ACC member volunteers are transforming cardiovascular care and improving heart health at the local level and beyond. These members sit on roughly 150 ACC committees, councils, task forces, work groups, and other governing bodies. Together, they give nearly 60,000 hours of their time every year to ensure that patients have the best possible access to high-quality, evidence- and team-based cardiovascular care. Joining me today is Dr. Dipti Itchhaporia, Chair of the ACC Board of Governors, to talk more about the importance of ACC volunteers. Dipti, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So what's your advice to members who want to volunteer?
Well, I would suggest that they start at their local level and see if they can join their local chapter and maybe take on a leadership role. Most of the chapters have counselors as well as a board of directors, and so they could either become a counselor or one of the board of directors, and then from there they can certainly consider also joining one of the many sections and councils that we have at National ACC. There's also an opportunity for members to join committees. In fact, the committee are open right now for joining, so people can go to CardioSource and look up what committees that they're interested in and see about openings. And the applications are being accepted all the way through till November 30th. So that would be another way that they could join. So there are many opportunities to join. Remember, we're a 40,000 member organization, but it does not seem that large when you start to go into these sections of interest. And that's how you find all the different opportunities.
What are some of the biggest benefits?
Biggest benefit of being a volunteer?
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest benefit is probably the camaraderie. I mean, you meet your colleagues from across the country, and all of a sudden now you know people everywhere. And I was just telling a colleague today how nice it was to be back at the Heart House, which is home. It really does feel like home, because it's where I see all my friends from across the country, and it helps to make my love of the profession even that much more.
It keeps you attached.
Keeps you engaged, it keeps you interested, and there isn't a time that I don't come back to the Heart House where I don't learn something. And I learn something from my colleagues. So to have those people in my email address book, in my in my contacts, so that I can call them up if I have a question. In fact, this time I'm here, I have a case that I have a colleague that I want to present to one of the colleagues, and I brought some of the echo tapes, and because I think that he has something that he could add to that.
Mm-hmm. So as chair of the ACC's Board of Governors, you're arguably one of the busiest college chairs. Tell us a little bit about your path to getting to this position.
Well, I started off, as I told you, in the chapter. So I started off as just and being invited to be a counselor. And from there, I became the chair of the membership committee. I was the chair of the Women in Cardiology Committee. And I never said no to some of the opportunities that came my way when I was participating at the local level. And then from there, there was an opportunity to run to be the governor from Southern California. And it's an election process, and much to my amazement, I won. And so I arrived the first time at Heart House and started to meet everybody. And then there are opportunities when you're at the college to join various committees, as I mentioned. And one thing led to another, where I had one of my colleagues from Maryland, Sam Goldberg, called me, and I'll still remember the day and the time, and he says, "Dipti, I think you need to run for chair of the Board of Governors." And he says, "I'd like to nominate you, and I'd really like you to think about that." And that's how the process started.
Well, we are glad to have you here. Glad to have you joining us today. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Itchhaporia. Cardiovascular disease remains one of the leading causes of death around the globe. Engagement with the ACC offers opportunities to reverse this trend and change the landscape of cardiovascular care for the better. More information on how to get involved with the college is available on cardiosource.org/ACC. Members interested in applying for a committee position for 2013 are encouraged to do so by October 31st. Members can also nominate a colleague during this time. That's all for this edition of the ACC Update. Join us again and stay tuned to CardioSource for all the news from your college. I'm Lisa Fletcher. Thanks for watching.